Hello, hello, hello. Welcome. This is G, Cancer. This is your video. We're going to go over your May 2023 Cancer. Do you know what planet rules your sign? Do you? Let me know what planet rules the sign of Cancer. Cancer? We'll answer that question at the end of the video. In the meantime, we're going to go over the three main things for your May of 2023. May is interesting because it has another eclipse. Yeah. And the eclipse is in a water sign. And why does that matter? Because Cancer is a water sign. So this eclipse being in water can be beneficial for you because you're a water sign, right? So we're just going to get right into it. We start off at the beginning of May. Now, one of the things I want to mention here with Cancer energy, and I just kind of want to do like a little bit of a talk about it, is, do you ever notice if your moods change? And I know we all go through our mood changing, but do you ever notice where there may be days where you just for some reason feel different, but you can't put your finger on why you feel different? Like, why do I feel better today than I felt yesterday? Like there wasn't anything significant. Now, obviously, if there was some big problem or something you were worried about, and then it just got, you had to do some things, and then all of a sudden, those decisions, those choices made things better for you. But if there isn't anything that you can put your finger on, and you're like, God, I feel so much better. Or the exact opposite, like nothing happened. You wake up, someone says hello to you, and you like, yeah, you might not have the most pleasant response, right? Or you may not even respond. You may not even say anything, right? You may feel like, okay, I'll just not even going to talk today, So the question that I'm asking has to do with the water energy. We were in the live the other night, and I never talk about this, and I should probably talk about it more because, well, I'm going to talk about it here because you're a water sign. The water has memory. You ever hear anybody say that? Think about that. You have heard me say that the sign of Cancer is about family. It can be about childhood. It can be about home. It can be about my emotional needs. And I'm often saying that Cancers are empaths, like they're the empath of the zodiac, right? Think about that. The empath of the zodiac, right? Water is a great conductor of energy. A great conductor of energy. It holds memory, right? It doesn't just travel through the water, it can hold it. So if it holds it, and if it's emotions and feelings, which it is, because that's the sign of Cancer, it's more about, I may not be able to tell you, like, this is this because of this. Like I have, I can show you proof, like, hey, here's the facts. But Cancer can be like, I feel this, right? High levels of sensitivity, empathic abilities. So there are Cancers who I know where they definitely feel better having, think of the crab, because that's what the sign of Cancer is. It's the crab, right? And so the crab carries its home around on its back. That shell, it's kind of like a security blanket, but it satisfies their emotional needs by establishing their emotional security. You see? So they're literally more they feel more safe. Bottom line, they feel more safe. So that shell on its back, right? Like this extra barrier, this extra covering they have to put on. You will see many people with the Cancer. If you ever see people like, especially, I don't know why, you usually, at least for me, I see it more in guy. Well, maybe not. Maybe it's just because it's guys and so it stands out, right? But you'll sometimes like those people who will wear a pair of shorts, but under the shorts, like they have a pair of leggings on, right? Or under their t-shirt, right? A t-shirt goes to here, right? But then they have like this long sleeve thing on underneath the t-shirt. So they have this long sleeve thing on, but then they have like a shirt on over it that's not long sleeve. And so it can almost be confusing. It's like, well, are you hot? Are you cold? Why do you like you look at the outfit and you're like, why would you dress that way? Like, does that serve something, And it does. The extra layer of clothing, the base layer, it's covering the body. And so that material, like the crab carrying its home on its back, almost like a turtle too, right? Carrying the home on its back, it gives it a sense of safety. Like if things get bad or whatever, or you're in a new place or you're around a lot of people, there's at least that layer. And so you have this material layer that's protecting you. Okay. So I think that's important to understand about Cancer energy. All right. Because some of them have just that empathic ability, and a lot of what they're feeling can have to do, people that were family members, right? And so if you have people in your home, in your life, where there's like these great levels of sensitivity with them, and these can go a lot of different ways. It doesn't have to be like, hey, we're best friends, or it doesn't have to be that, hey, we're mortal enemies. It just can be that whatever those emotions are, they're elevated because you feel them more strongly, right? You feel them more strongly. And that's where the empathic ability comes in, where you may just know something's going on and nobody has to tell you. You can feel it, right? You can feel it. So when there's a full moon, it's a full moon. It's a full moon Scorpio eclipse, full moon in Scorpio, lunar eclipse, right? So I'm going to break this down because it's a south node eclipse too. I just threw that in there just to mess with you. I know it can be confusing. So if you don't, if you don't know like what I'm talking about and you want to know, meaning you want like your chart, just comment to me below. I'll help you out in any way I can. I'll take care of you. But if you have a chart, you want to look at the degrees of 1458. All right. So 14 degrees, 58 minutes, Scorpio energy. And not to be too confusing, but we're looking at both sides of that. So it's Scorpio and Taurus, because that's how all eclipses work. You pay attention at both ends. And I realize I don't say that in every video, but in this series for this month, I'm being strongly reminded to make sure I mention Taurus and Scorpio at those degrees. So luckily, I know where this is for you, right? There might be some of you who have charts that are a little bit different, and that's where I can help you. You might be like, gee, I got my chart. I have no idea where this is at, and that's totally fine. Just get your stuff to me, and I'll tell you where it's at for you. I'll be sure, because for some of you, it'll line up perfectly with what I'm talking about, and for some of you, depending upon how your charts are, it might be a little bit off. It could be a little bit in the house before, a little bit of the house after. All right. So either way, don't concern yourself if it's confusing. Don't get discouraged. Just keep listening, because I'm going to tell you the overall meanings of it. So for Cancer energy, 5th house is where you're having your eclipse. Now, what we need to know about the 5th house is, what does it mean? The 5th house is fun, children, romance, joy, creativity. It's how I take a risk with my body. Some say the 5th house is automobiles. 5th house is an athletic placement. It's athletic. And so if you have Scorpio in the 5th house, not only is it athletic, it's super creative, because the 5th house is all about being creative, but being a little possibly dramatic at times, possibly, because think about this. Scorpio is highly creative. It can have unbelievably deep emotions that it can pull from. And it's in the theatrical placement of the 5th house, because this is Leo energy. Like, I'm the performer, I'm on the stage, the light is shining on me, you see? So there's like this depth that it can pull from, right? But it's a great artist, really good artist. And if this is you, if you got Cancer on your ascendant and you're like, damn, gee, I don't have any creative abilities. Well, talk to me. Talk to me down below and let me know that. And yeah, we'll have a conversation, and then we'll see about that. Let's put it like that. We'll see about that. Now, if you're watching because you're a birthday Cancer, that means you're a Cancer sun sign, and keep watching. That's perfectly fine. Cancer sun sign is going to be about how you express, how you shine, how you radiate. That's what your sun sign is. That's what it is. It's also how you get energized, how you feel, how your battery gets recharged. So it's a release because it's an eclipse. Bottom line, it's an eclipse, and it's a south node eclipse. And when you hear me say south node, regardless of the sign, that's what it means. It's like, okay, we're letting something go. If it's in Scorpio, which it is, it's also a release. Scorpio likes to change and transform. And the only way to do that is to be like, okay, this is over and we have to have a new beginning, or we're literally revamping something. So just keep in mind that fifth house, children, fun, joy, creativity, romance, could be mating, dating, relating. There could be some of that in there. Taking a risk with my body in different ways. And so there may have been a way that you're like, I'm not doing that anymore. Like, I'm done with that. And the beauty is that having an eclipse in Scorpio enables us to release that which no longer serves us. So some people have deep buried wounds when we talk about Scorpio energy, and it's kind of hidden from us sometimes, or we hide it from others even, but it can be hidden from ourselves. We can have anxiety and we don't know where the hell it's coming from or what's the cause of it, because that's Scorpio energy. It's shit that's buried deep and hidden so deep we don't even know what's causing it. Yeah, because many times if it's Scorpio, it isn't from this lifetime even. There could have been an event in this lifetime, but it was triggered. Like, that event was a trigger for something that had already happened a long time ago, because it's history, soul history. Okay. So just so you understand that about yourself. And yeah, people tend to beat themselves up. They think, what's my problem? Like, why does this bother me? And why don't my siblings have the same problem? We all have the same parents, right? Like, I have a lot of siblings, and that's a big question. Well, not anymore. Like, I understand now why, because I understand this. And so however your chart is when you come in is so uniquely you, so different, that you're going to have a different set of experiences, because your perception, your emotions, your memory, your soul history that you had when you came in is going to be different than theirs. And that means for some of us, we had parents that we could have had a really crazy relationship with prior to this lifetime, prior to what we would call this lifetime. Okay. And so that carries over, and it has everything to do with how we relate with them at this time around. We'll say it like that. So there can be wounds that just are just old and they need to be released. And this Scorpio eclipse can absolutely, truly help with that. It can change and transform. Remember, Phoenix rising, Phoenix rising. Okay. Now, it is also a full moon. Yeah. And that's what makes it a lunar eclipse. Whenever you hear anybody say a lunar eclipse, that just means it's a full moon. Why is it an eclipse then, right? Why is this full moon an eclipse and not just a full moon? Because it is near the node. Anytime a full moon or a new moon is near one of the nodes, and anyway, I know it's getting a little deep, but anytime it's near one of the nodes, that makes it an eclipse. Okay, makes sense? So, the full moon is also a symbol of release and completions. It's like, okay, I just got done with this book. It's over. I'm done with it. I put it aside. I've released it. I might even pass it on to somebody. I might go give it away, right? It doesn't have to be tragic, but Scorpio energy normally is tragic, honestly. And so that's why we have those wounds, because it was something tragic that created those wounds, okay? So releases, endings, closures, making way for the new. All right? Because there is a promise of new this month. There is a promise of new. Stick with me here. We're next going to talk about Mercury. Number two item. Mercury began a retrograde last month in April. right? Now, Mercury's retrograde is important because it's in Taurus energy, and that is the exact opposite of where this eclipse happened. This eclipse was in Scorpio. Mercury's doing a retrograde in Taurus, which is your income, your values. This could be your love, love and money, who I love, what I value, my creature comforts, the earth itself, right? Taurus energy. This is your 11th house. So this is your friendships, your social circles, your social causes. So if you find yourself being inclined to do things for society, for the earth, like thinking in advance, like about the earth and ways in which to help the earth even. And, like maybe you've become a minimalist, maybe you're someone who's like, okay, I'm going to be recycling, right? Or doing whatever I can to help the earth, whatever that may be. But in a group, even being part of a group. Now, I will add the 11th house can also be doing something online. 11th house, social groups, digital groups. So these can be people who are vlogging or blogging, right? It's like I always use YouTube as an example because this is where I'm at, YouTube. I don't really use any other social platforms because, I just don't have that's not my thing. You guys are lucky. Yeah, you guys. I'm very fortunate I'm even able to accomplish this because it was, oh my God, I don't even want to go there. But your values, friends that you value. And you may have had times in your life where those friends turned into a romantic interest and may have gone farther. It might have happened because Scorpio and Taurus run along that same line of energy, right? They're always connected. And so they're all about Taurus sensuality, the five senses, smells, taste, touch, desire. Venus rules Taurus energy. And so Venus rules this new moon. Super fascinating because Mars was over here for that eclipse, Mars and Pluto for the eclipse, Venus at the opposite end, right? So this 11th house was also at the opposite end of the eclipse, right? But here we are with the new moon. And this new moon is a new beginning. Remember, I talked about the promise of the new that's coming because we released something over here, something or someone. Maybe it was just a piece of art. Maybe it was a romantic person or somebody you were romantically involved with. Maybe it was something about your, empty nest syndrome, like the youngest child in the family is going away, right? They're moving out, right? Release, 5th house. 11th house, new beginning with friends. All right. A new value with friends. Okay. Some sort of social causes, but you're going to have friends who are going to be very different, very unique, and you would absolutely support that. You would value people who are truly original. They're just something distinctive about them. They're unique. They stand out. Might even be people who look good because it's Venus. So they might have something beautiful looking about their appearance. Like that's Venus. That's that Taurus energy. Also maybe friends who are youthful or older than you or both. People who are older than me, people that I look up to, and then people who are younger than me because that's the 11th house as well. I know it's crazy, right? Now, because there's a new beginning, this is taking us to like the 19th of the month. We have that eclipse, the new moon in Taurus. It's at 28 degrees and 25 minutes. This is a very mature degree. So this tells me this new beginning in Taurus is going to be something that's, it's not going to simply be about money. Okay. Although it can be about digital money, digital dollars. It can be because you've got Taurus in the 11th house. Interesting, because that would mean you have Uranus going through there too. So these would be people who might be into the digital dollars, right? Bitcoin and just the cryptocurrency and stuff. But we know there was a lot of stuff going on in the banking sector of the startups and stuff, right? We know about that. Either way, this is a new beginning. And so you want to set your intentions. New beginning on the 19th. It doesn't come like that day. Obviously, the new moon comes that day. And the power, the energy of the new moon is that day. And I say the power and the energy because it's the sun and the moon together. Right? Think about it. The mother and the father, what happens when they get together, right? They can create something that is of lasting, a value that you have, even a value that you have. So this is powerful and it's important. I think we got Taffy in the room. What are you doing, Mama? You coming up? Okay, hold on. There you are. The door. Let me shut that door so I'm not waking you. Did you hear me talking? You decided you had to join, huh? Oh, did you hear me talking? Yeah, you decided you had to come in? I had to shut the door because I'm not alone in the house, and it's late. It's late. We've got one of my housemates is an election judge, and she has to be up in like 4 hours or something like that. Yeah, election judges have like baker's hours. They don't really have baker's hours, but I think they have to be there to get the place loaded or whatever. I think it might be 5 a.m. or something. So, you got to be up, then you got to travel to the location, and then you got to haul everything. Anyhow, so yeah, baker's hours. They got to be up early. Come on, sit down. And I don't want her. Yeah, she's already asleep, of course. But all right, so now that Taffy has decided she had to be here with us, this new moon we're talking about, the Taurus new moon, is Venus ruled. Right. So Venus comes prominent. Values, right? Values, money, could be love, could be friends, could be a new friendship that begins because it's a new moon within your friends, within your social circle. Taffy, let's get you adjusted. Watch your head. Let me get this out of your way so that you have a little bit of space. Okay, come on. I know. She's like, this isn't good. Well, honey, I'm sorry. I set this up when you weren't in here. She's like, I want to be against you. I just went into my room before I began recording, and I had to get all my little equipment stuff. And I saw like a little bump in the mattress, or not the mattress, but in the blanket. And I was like, that looks curious, right? So I kind of nudged it a little bit. And sure enough, she climbed under my wool blankets and she was laying under them. Oh, you were laying under my wool blankets, huh? She does that when she wants attention. She'll be in my room waiting so that she can get her belly rubbed. She can lay on her side and be all comfy and get her little belly rubs. Oh, yeah. Yeah. So now she's laying up against me. She came in the room wondering where the hell I am. Where the hell are you? You're still out. Get your ass in the house, damn it. I'm working, Taff. I'm working. So for Cancer, it's interesting that Taffy showed up. I have to make a mention to that because she's a tortie. And if you know anything about tortie cats, they're like the empaths of the kitty cat world. They truly are. They're super sensitive, right? People would be like, oh, they're skittish, they're this and they're that. And so I just see them as little cancers. Like I've always thought Taffy was a Cancer. When I met her, I was like, this little one must be a Cancer. And because she is very sensitive, and not sensitive like boo-hoo, but like she can feel things. And so she knows. And so I love that she showed up for this video for you. It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful confirmation too. So Cancer, I gave you the degrees for that new moon. I didn't give you the time of the new moon, and that's important. I always like to give the time for the new moons because some of you, if you're literally setting your intentions, there's known to be like an 8-hour window. I call it like the hours of power, and it's 8 hours long, right? So it's 10:53 a.m. So that means 10:53 a.m. and the 8 hours that follow, and that's Central Daylight Time because that's where I'm at. Adjust for where you live. And the 8 hours that follow, that's when you want to put your intentions down, whether you write them or speak them out to the universe or pray or meditate, whatever you do that works for you. All right. So Cancer, if you've got any questions, you comment below and I will help you out in any way that I can. You enjoy your May 2023. I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye. Below the video, I'll have all the degrees for those of you who like to pay attention to the degrees in your chart. Again, if you don't know and you want to know, just comment below.